Okay, welcome to this course. This course has simply one purpose. It should be a course that I would have wanted to actually go for when I started to learn programming with SwiftUi and Xcode, and therefore I will offer you the possibility to join this course for free, where I explain how you can create this application. Therefore, after I explain this application, we will start a new project in Xcode and we will rebuild this from scratch. But first, I will tell you how this application works so you can simply follow along. So basically, many things actually do happen in the background. So, for example, you can see here we have many habits, and we can actually click on a habit and add progress. So that means something is actually happening in the background which adds up entries. So these numbers on the left side actually increase as soon as we add progress. Additionally, progress is actually tracked, and we can actually backtrack it depending on the data we actually want to see for different dates. As you can see, you can select a starting date and so on. And actually, when we select a different kind of date, then more dates are displayed and start from the starting date we selected. On this panel, we can choose to actually add a new habit. Then we can choose between a positive or a negative habit. As you can see here, this is a positive habit and this is a negative habit. As soon as the progress equals the ideal or is greater than the ideal, which we first selected, then a good habit will turn green and a bad habit will turn red. Additionally, we can actually delete habits and their progress. And the tricky thing about this application is that you have to imagine that we have some kind of storage, and then we actually save all our data to this kind of storage. So for example, if we deploy a new habit, this habit will be deployed to the storage. And if we deploy progress, then this will also be deployed to the same model. But if we are a bit smart about certain configurations, this is actually no problem to apply both of these to the same model and still give them different functions. And we implement the option to actually delete the habit and the progress of this habit. So you don't have to worry if you actually selected a wrong habit or something like this. You can simply edit this kind of portfolio of habits you created at any time. The graphical valuation. Then we have simply a very simple settings screen where we have additional information, something about this application, copyright, whatever. And then we also offer the possibility to actually delete progress for different habits, so the memory on your phone won't get overloaded. This is simply an option to make this application very comfortable. Another solution would be to deinstall this application and to reinstall this application, but I simply wanted to add it in, and that everything we simply program together is set on your phone, and this is all there is to it. And I wanted to integrate lots of functions which should now simply create question marks for you because you don't know how all of this works and how we can create this. And then after this, you should learn a lot and be able to do something like this yourself. First things first, I have to add that, for example, when I create a new application, I look for other people that create, for example, certain design elements and simply think about how I could implement these design elements into my own application. So for example, I didn't come up myself with this kind of idea for a design, like this menu bar and then this material effect. I simply watched other tutorials and saw how I could use this element and implement it into one of my ideas. And then I simply changed it up till it could fulfill the purpose I had for my own application. And so many ideas come together to eventually create an application you wish for. That's all about the introduction. Now we create a new project. So now we create a new project and we simply call it DHD, and we select an app, and then we simply select the option to include CoreData. That's all you need to do. So now you should have successfully created the project and implemented CoreData. You don't need to create a Git repository or anything else. And we are good to go. If you did everything correctly, then you should see something like this. So the CoreData model is already implemented into your project. And you can also see, for example, something like this, which is an item formatter, but we will come to this later. First, we'll create a new file. So we click here, new file, and select the launch screen. The launch screen can be seen when you actually start the application, and then there should be some kind of background and logo on top. And that's all there is to it. But we have to configure it so it's responsive. What does it mean? Well, when a launch screen is responsive, then it looks good, for example, on an iPad, on an iPhone, and on a laptop as well, if you configured it correctly. So I will show you how you can do it, and it still looks nice, not depending on the screen size your technical device is using. Okay, so this is the launch screen. Then we click on View Controller, on View. Okay, after we clicked on View, we have to actually select this. So now save area relative margins and now save area layout guide. And something here should change when we click on these. See, save area is gone. That means that we can actually have an image for the full size. So now what is missing? We don't have any assets. So that's the next thing we have to do. We actually have to implement assets which we can use. This, for example, could be images or something else. I came prepared. So we have a few images which we can simply select and then drag and drop. So I will simply do this. Okay, so now we have a few images which we can use then later in this application. You can actually see a few of these images. We go back to the simulator, and here you can see that we're actually using this image here on the front screen, and on the settings tab we use this image. Okay, and then these two, this background and this logo, will be used for the launch screen. I usually think it's a good idea to have a colorful background and then a logo which is simply white, but this is just my taste. Okay, and additionally, we have an app icon. And for this app icon, it's quite important that you actually design an image for the size of 1024 1024. And then there are many websites which offer the possibility to upload an image with this kind of resolution, and then it will be resized for your demands to these smaller pixel resolutions. So we actually already did it, and now I can drag and drop these in. If I didn't make a video about it yet, then you can tell me, then I will simply add one in the future where I explain this in particular, because this process is similar for every kind of application which you actually want to deploy and create. So for 20, we go for 20, 29 is 29, and so on. And when you make a mistake, usually this program tells you that. I can quickly show you. We simply pick an image which is too small for this, and then we see something like an exclamation mark, and we click on it, and then we can see the resolution of this image. So this program actually helps you. If you do any mistakes, then you will be informed, which is quite neat. And you can also see for different devices there are different kind of app icons that are needed. So these images will not be nothing else than on the device the app icon you can see. Okay, perfect. So that's done. Now we have a app icon for all kinds of resolutions. Then we go back to the launch screen, click on it.